से ज्वाइन तो खुद ही कर देंगे बच्चों को। बच्चों को खुद ही
अभी मैं कर रहा हूँ नाइस।
Um, okay, hopefully you guys can hear me. So okay, I believe we have the right number of people. From my understanding, there are 16 people, so that's good. So promotion did work at least in some ways. So okay, all right. So hey guys, today we have another event, and in this event, I mainly will be focusing on. Obviously, we have generally like in the ambassador space in Microsoft Learn Studio, there are obviously people are building tools on the Azure Machine Learning Studio workspace. And then there are obviously a lot more solutions that you can deploy on the Microsoft Azure cloud services. And yeah, today we are going to be simply just having a look at the Azure Machine Learning Studio, Azure Virtual Machines, and we will be taking a look at how you can basically, configure your environment to start building AI agents. Now, right now, I believe if you are following the AI hype these days, certainly we have some level of AI agency that is constantly developed and thrown around on Twitter, or at least on the social media platforms. People are building these agentic systems, which essentially is an AI, sort of like an assistant that can do tasks for you in an environment. So for example, if you have a configured browser, and then if you would like to ask an AI agent, oh, go to this web page and fetch some data from it, gather some insights, and then report back those insights back to me in sort of like a JSON format. That AI agent can do that for you. You don't have to do that from scratch and manually, basically. So yes, and then there are a few frameworks that have spawned as per the following this regime. So we have the very first, I believe at least this one is pretty prominent, which is the Camel AI. And this Camel AI agent is primarily a Python framework, which allows you to build AI agents. And then basically you can build a chat agent. You can deploy those agents in with toolkits. And you can do basically a lot more stuff. So primarily they deal with a lot more toolkits that you can do stuff with. So you can generate data, you can use different models. So you can use different large language models. You can use models from OpenAI, Claude, Anthropic, even some of these Chinese models. You have Qwen, DeepSeek, and some of the models from the European Union. So we have the Mistral. I believe Mistral does have a few models that you can run with Camel AI framework. So there's that. But primarily, let's just first dive right into the Azure Machine Learning Studio workspace. I believe the thing is not visible enough, so I will have to increase the viewport size. So primarily, whenever if you have a student subscription on Microsoft Azure, you can get one by signing up for the Azure Student discount, or I believe there is an Azure Student service that you can sign up for, and then you will be able to get some credits that you can run on Azure, and then you can sign up for Azure, and then eventually you will be landed on this page with your subscription key. So for example, if I head on over to my subscription, I have my Visual Studio Enterprise subscription, which is basically my subscription that has been allocated to me by the Microsoft Ambassador team so that we can build product, raise awareness, and then do everything we want. So in this basically specific Azure dashboard, I am particularly interested with the Azure Machine Learning Studio. And then all you have to do, there is a resource group. So in order to spawn or at least deploy endpoints in Microsoft Azure, you need to do some sort of tinkering. And then that tinkering involves setting up a resource group. And then after that resource group is set up, you can head on over to that resource and use it as to your liking. So I have my resource group already set up. And then this is the URL that has been provided to me. So I am just simply going to be copying it and then launching the URL. And then this is going to be launching ML Studio Workspace. Now, this is the resource group we just created, or at least I created previously. So I created an Azure ML Studio Workspace. And then from that, it will give me an URL. And then I navigate to that URL. And then that URL will land me to this page where there is a whole bunch of resources that we can follow. So basically, you can do all sorts of things. We can have a look at the model catalog. And then this model catalog is provides you pre-configured images of the containerized images of the models that you can run on Azure Machine Learning Studio. So there are a whole bunch of AI models that you can run. Specifically, the DeepSeek V3. This is a pretty big deal because DeepSeek certainly was and has been a pretty good resource, at least in the last few months. And then it has basically leveled up the playing field for AI, at least the open source community for AI. and people no longer are, at least people are no longer paying far more attention to the proprietary models, and then they're also considering switching to some open source models such as DeepSeek v3, and then there are certainly some Chinese models as well. So heading on over to this resource, we have authoring, and then under authoring we have this section notebooks. So primarily you can run Jupyter notebooks on a cloud service, and then that cloud specific service will provide you some hardware resources, and then you can run a notebooks on top of this. So I'm going to be simply creating a new notebook, and then we can name this notebook something along those lines of like new ambassador, or at least a new agent notebook. And then this is basically like an interactive computing environment, and then you can write Python code, run on a single instance compute. And then if you would like to take a look at our compute instance, we have the Azure serverless Spark compute, which is available. But we do need to start our sessions. So meanwhile, we are starting it, we need to make sure that our compute is spawned. So first we need to check if we have any available compute that we can run our notebook on. So we can take a look at our GPU instances, and it appears we do not have enough quota, so we can only opt for some CPU versions of our compute, and then we can take a look and select any standard one that suits to our liking. So, but I would like to go with this general purpose one. So, and then we can take a look at the cost exactly. It's going to cost us 34 cents for the duration of, I would have to take a look. This might be per hour. So 34 cents per hour to run this notebook. And then we're simply going to be selecting this, and then heading, oh, it's not letting me, okay, we need to provide a name. So let's see, agent compute. Okay, valid character, so agent compute. And then we are simply going to be reviewing and creating our compute instance, on top of which we are going to be running our notebook. And then let's head on over and click on create. I do have to take a look at if the screen is being shared. Okay, it's working. Okay, so now we can basically write our code and start working with AI agents, primarily in a very sort of like an interactive fashion. So first we need to use pip to install our packages, and then we will need to provide an OpenAI API key. And then eventually we will be having some responses that we can take a look and navigate to those responses. And then we will see exactly how those responses are leveled up. So basically leveled up in a sense like you are evaluating those responses. So whenever you're trying to evaluate a model, you can take a look at exactly how good of a response a model gave. And that exactly you can do. You can select different models in the from the framework itself that you're dealing with. But primarily, we will be taking a look at some of the examples that Camel AI provides from out of the box. So we do have some basic concepts, and then we will be starting from slow, and then we will be taking a look at what exactly is the power of Camel AI and how we can couple it with the Azure solution that we have here, and then how we can experiment with an AI agent on hand right then and there. So first, as it says, we need to install it. But first, we need to get some background information. So it would be nicer to get our Python version, because if you do not have a suitable Python version, that would be an issue. So and we do, and I believe we haven't selected. Oh, this one. We need to switch our compute, and we can check our Python version now. Okay, so it appears that our compute is starting. So we just created a, just a minute ago, we created a compute instance, the general purpose compute instance that was 34 cents an hour, the CPU instance with 4 cores and 14 gigs of RAM. So in order to actually start running our notebooks on top of it, we need to make sure that our compute is actually provisioned and is running. So basically our hardware is ready to run code. So now I believe our compute is running. So we have Python 3.10.11. So it will be nicer if we can take a look at exactly what Python version are we dealing with here. So we have Camel AI 0.2.16, and then we can take a look at how many instances of Camel AI are compatible with Python 3.10.11. So meanwhile, we are installing this. I believe it's about time I introduce you to some sort of like the generalized understanding behind AI agents and why is it so predominantly, or why is it so dominant these days. So there was there was an AI agent that was that these Camel AI community rolled out, and then it was sort of like an interactive AI agent that you can use in a sort of like a browser-based environment. So if you would like to see that in action, you can head on over to the GitHub of Camel AI/owl, and then owl is the optimized workforce learning for general multi-agent assistant in real-world task automation. This is basically like a verbose way of putting it, but it's basically like you can have a sort of like a learning environment where essentially your AI agent learns from whatever action it is doing. And then a multi-agent in a way that each agent is checking itself. So if you have one agent that is navigating to a website, you can have another agent that is going to check if the website is available or not. So yeah, in sort of like a multi-agent fashion, each agent checks each other so that you do not run into some pretty critical bugs. So there is a demo video, and then I believe it will be nicer if we can take a look at that demo video, and then it will be much more clear and be suitable if you can just check it right then and here. So I believe the video is, I'm not sure why is it, okay. We can, okay, we can copy the link and then see if it's going to work here. Okay, no. Okay, so I believe in such a scenario we can just clone it. So it's better to use GitHub to the fullest. So we can just simply download zip, and then we can take a look at the video, because we are going to be taking a look at the video because without it, it will not be fully understandable what exactly we are looking at. So where exactly is the README? README.md. Okay. Do we have MP4? Okay, demo video. Okay, this is not on. This is okay. So it appears they have hosted the video somewhere on a CDN, but on a content delivery network, but the video is not available in the repository. This is pretty strange. So okay, running back to our notebook for a while. So I believe this is still installing. We are still installing packages and successfully installed setup tools, and then we are still seeing the output of our Camel AI installation. So there are a lot of packages to install within this Camel AI based library, and then we can run individual code instances that we can run. So just to have a general understanding, even if this demo does not suffice to anything good today, but we can head on over to the Camel AI framework minimal working examples, and then after the installation of this Camel AI based package, we need to set up our environment. So by setting up our environment, we need to make sure that we have like certain API keys. And primarily, we only are dealing with for now at least, OpenAI LLMs. So we do need an OpenAI API key. And then if you can get an OpenAI API key from your dashboard by heading on over to the platform.openai.com/API keys, create an account, create a new secret key, and then copy that key and then simply put it, as you copy and paste this code, it will ask you to prompt the key here. And then you can put that key and then run LLMs from OpenAI with some of the base configuration that Camel AI provides. So this is the primary thing that we are dealing with. So yes, so I believe we did not have any issues. Let me see. Azure Train AutoML. So successfully installed Pi. Okay, that's good. So the next thing we need to make sure that we are setting up our environments. So this is just simply like the base minimal working example. So that's why I'm copy pasting it. But eventually, if you would like to build more complex stuff like an AI agent that is going to browse stuff for you, you will have to make sure that you are fiddling around and modifying the code itself. So we need to make sure that we provide an OpenAI API key. So if you simply see, I can expose some secrets here. So because I can delete all of these keys later. But for now, I can provide copy and paste this key, and then we can set up our environment for now. So we will be having a new code block again, and then we are taking baby steps so that we are finally heading towards creating a minimal chat agent. So a chat agent is something that you can chat with, and then we have to provide a system message. So we can write our system message variable. And then by default, Camel AI provides like, you are a curious stone wondering about the universe, but that's too philosophical. So we can ask, we can provide something like a base message, something like, you are a sophisticated scientific expert excelling in managing sort of like medical imaging workflows. One second, I think excelling microphone issues. So excelling in managing medical imaging workflows. And then after we define our variable, we can add another code block. And then here we can start configuring things up. So we need to make sure that I think this might hinder the. Okay, I cannot do this. Okay, and by the way, we are using Microsoft Edge, the goated browser. Yeah, Chrome crashes for a while, so yeah, at least with Azure, Microsoft Edge works seamlessly. So from the base template, we see that the camel from camel.models. So we have a camel library, we have the camel base library, and then we have a bunch of submodules, or at least in modules that we have that exposes a bunch of base configuration for models. So we have to import model factory, model platform type, model type, and then chat GPT config, because we are dealing with OpenAI, and then we need a custom configuration. We do not want to write custom configuration. My apologies. We need a base configuration that is auto-configured for us, so we have less mess to deal with. So from camel.models, we can import a model factory. And then from camel.models, we can further import model platform type, model type. And then from camel.configs, we can import chat GPT config. I believe this must be config. Okay, from camel.types. Okay. Model platform type and model type, and then we have chat GPT config. And then this is a good sort of like a good practice, instead of because now the actual Camel AI library is put to use. So it's better that instead of just copying it and putting the code in the code blocks, you actually start following the line by line iteration of the code, because that is going to reduce friction in the future if you're building an AI agent for yourself. So yeah, but in the beginning, if you're setting up your environment, like setting up OpenAI API keys and installing the package, copying pasting just works fine if you're trying to save on time. So right now the actual work starts, and then here we can start working with our model. So we first need to create a model card or a model factory. So we have a variable model, and then we are going to be invoking a class exposed from the Camel framework, which is the model factory class, and this accepts a few parameters. And then, okay, so not model factory class, and then we have a method on top of it. So model factory.create, and then we need to set model platform, model type, and then model config dictionary. So first we need to specify which platform of model we are choosing. So we have OpenAI model platform type.openai, and then we have model type. What model from OpenAI are you willing to work with? So we have model type the GPT-4o mini. And then model config, we have a dictionary model config dictionary, we have chat GPT config, and then we set up, like, whenever we get a configuration, it's sort of like in a format of JSON. So like we have like curly braces, and then we have objects and that sort of stuff, but we need to make sure that we get it in a suitable format into a Python dictionary. So that's why we have this method as dict. So yes, to save on time, you can literally just copy it and then comment it out. Put it right here for a reference. so that we have a reference. So, and these triple quotes represents comments in Python, or at least if you look at some package documentation, they will put doc strings into 3 quotes. So yes, these can be considered as comments. So in the model factory.create method, or at least class, you can provide some parameters. So you have model platform equals model platform type dot OpenAI, and then we have model type, which is model type dot GPT 4.0 mini, and then we have model config dict, model config dict, I believe, and then this is okay, chat GPT config. Okay, we have autocomplete. As you can see, like that's why I love machine learning studio notebooks. Given that if a library, for example, previously I was having way too many errors trying to install Camel AI, but as we know that now we have the correct SDK of Python. As you can see right here, we have Python 3.10 SDK. Previously, my compute was the serverless Spark compute, and I kept getting errors on trying to install Camel AI version 0.2.16. So yes, I was pretty worried. Why is it not installing? But eventually, when we corrected and created a new compute that is suitable for general purpose computing. So we have our compute, and then it preloaded that compute with the configured Python SDK. So it preloaded that with the Python 3.10 software development kit. And version 2, and then now I believe that's the reason Camel AI 0.2.16 installed successfully now, at least. So we can do as dict completed, and then let's see, just try to run this code block, and then we see module not found error. So from Camel, okay, so we did not get any errors here, at least. This behavior is out of source for the following dependency, pandas ML. Okay, so we need to run, I believe, Camel installation one more time. And meanwhile, Camel is installing. So this is the general way that we define a configuration for an AI agent. We first create a model factory, and then right now we are dealing with sort of like some package installation errors, but eventually there is some solution that will come up, and then we will be able to see the chat agent working in action. So requirement already satisfied, and then let's try to rerun this. Okay, we can. Okay. We are not. We have installed it, but we are not importing it from import camel as camel AI, I believe. Camel all. What is it? From Camel AI all. Okay. Camel. Okay, we can do. Okay, it appears we do have some package errors because primarily Camel AI is in production, but if you do not follow the correct guidelines with the Python versioning and everything, and if you do not have the correct dependency packages, it almost always certainly is going to error. So it's a good session that we can debug together, and then we can use AI and right on hand. So we do have Copilot at our assistance, and then we can simply just copy all of our key cards or code blocks, and then take a look and provides the outputs of this command and see why is it not working. So we can copy our code block, give it to Copilot, and then previously that we ran two commands, basically. Oh, okay, we do have, okay. Previously we ran, sorry, microphone, I keep tugging on my microphone. So we did run these two commands previously, so it's better to provide them as well. And then we can see we ran this previously on Azure ML Studio notebooks, but apparently the above code for Camel model factory is giving errors. as it's not loading the library. Provide a solution. Provide a solution. So yes, this is where Copilot and modern day tools shines. That you basically have a lot more tools at your arsenal that you can use to debug and provide a solution with. So yes, we have Azure Machine Learning Studio, and we are trying to create a chat agent. And then meanwhile, we are getting into errors. We can use Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, that is built into most Windows operating system installations. I believe Windows 10 and above. So because Windows 10 for a while did have support for Copilot. And after that, I updated to Windows 11, and it did still have, obviously, support for Copilot. So what does Copilot recommend? So we need to verify model availability, but that's not our issue. Our issue is that the camel, as you can see, these squiggly red lines indicating that the camel framework is not even loading. So we get module not found error. So we can see if we did copy paste the code, or we can just try copying it from here if we did not make any typos. Okay, so we get, and then we can simply copy the error and then provide Copilot with, oh yikes, it copied the entire log, which is good because that's what you want to get. So this is the output I get when dealing with the code. Can you provide a fix? Okay, so appears we have got a bit too long of a message. So let's try shortening it. Triple quotes, and then provide it again. I get this error. Can we have a fix? So the model not found error indicates that the Camel AI library isn't installed or properly available in your Python environment. Let's solve this. So we need to verify installation. So let's do that one more time. So, and then we're going to be doing everything in a single code block. So our Copilot gave us this line of code. We need to do pip install again, Camel AI, and then we have requirement already satisfied. Google AI Vision, we need to make sure that we take a look at all of the logs, because any error in this log is going to indicate that the Camel AI is not installed properly, and then yes, we will not be having our import for the modules. And then and then we can take a look at the result of our Python environment, and we can have a new code block, paste it, which Python is going to show us the Python path, and then pip show Camel AI. I believe this, at least if it's installed correctly, it does show 0.2.16. And now if we try to get a new code block, it should at least provide some sort of understanding. Upgrade dependencies, force reinstall. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try to rerun this model factory example. We are installing it, but we are not importing it. Okay, so it appears we might be stuck with this error for a while because Camel AI requires some very discrete. Camel AI does require some very discrete configuration before we can get up and running with the framework itself. But if you would like to see what exactly is the minimal working example going to provide us, they actually do provide us with the output here as well. And while today we might not have a very minimal working example with Microsoft Learning ML Studio notebooks, some configuration with some more time on hand, I am very certain that we can get it to work right then and here. But this is actually the working space, the workspace, and the work routine that you might as well go through whenever you're embarking on a new technology or whenever you're trying to experiment. And then this environment, and then this workspace that you have right in front of you, right on your screens, is very intuitive, given that you can spawn any amount of compute based on your subscription, and then write code, try to experiment it. If you do get in bugs, you can use Microsoft Copilot to debug, and then at least try to get a general understanding of where you are at in your code base. So Yes, and then basically the minimal working example for today we tried to do, and then was utilizing the Camel AI framework to build a chat agent. So so and then basically after every single like code block that we should have ran, and if it ran successfully, we would have gotten a result something like similar to this. So it's better that we copy it and then provide sort of like a beautiful interface in machine learning studio. So we have we can say that we had at least achieved something good today. So we can simply copy this content that was ran previously from a different notebook. We can use Microsoft Copilot. We can give it, oh my God, this content is pretty big. Hopefully this can hopefully this can accept this. But let's see. We can see, can you write a Python program that will print this data beautifully? Okay, sure. So it did get the prompt, because sometimes there is a prompt limit to how many characters you can put or provide to Copilot, and yeah, it gave us a seamless result. So I believe it did give us some JSON data, and then we can, right now, in order to make sure that we had at least something good today, we can, have a new code block, paste all of our code, and just to get it in view, and to get a general understanding of what is happening here. So basically, what happened here? We tried to use Camel AI today in Azure Machine Learning Studio notebooks, but due to some package dependencies and compatibility error, we were not able to exactly run the LLM in the notebook itself. So instead, what we did, we head on over to the Camel AI cookbooks, and then they had some example data that you will get that is exactly similar to what you will get after running the code. And then we are simply trying to see if we can print out in sort of like this data in sort of like a beautiful format, because right now I don't think this is any reasonable thing to read. So we asked Copilot to make it more pretty, to prettify it, and then let's see, let's take a look and understand what exactly Copilot gave us. So it's using the JSON library, because our data originally was in a JSON format. So we have some roles, and then we have some entries of the data. And then what exactly it gave us a function that will print beautiful data. So for each entry, it's printing a formatted string with some role and then content, and then it's calling the function, and then it's basically printing individual lines. I thought it's going to print like sort of like a beautiful table, but then in the next iteration we are simply going to be getting we're simply going to be getting, okay, so this is not readable. So okay, this is still not readable. So let's ask Copilot. This is still not readable. Try to make it more organized by putting it in sort of like a table, and also add colors. And then this is sort of like the value of modern day debugging tools. So you don't no longer have to take a look at documentation. At least you still have to take a look at documentation if a package is in if a package is in constant development, or at least if you're using the GitHub branch of that package itself. So yeah, that might take some time, but yeah, with the most AI LLMs, at least put forward by Microsoft, you can just simply provide your query and then ask it anything you want. So what we did right now, we asked like, okay, we do have data, like you can still read it. I can increase the viewport size one more time, like you can still read it. So for example, if our, so rolling back to that same thought again, if our original Camel AI chat agent did work in this notebook, we would have gotten a content similar to this. So we have a role function, and then it has some content, and then we have a result ID, and then basically this is first, it will print out first what exact framework it is running on. So the agent will print what exact framework it is running on. So it has a title of Camel AI, description. Camel AI is an open source platform that enables you to build and customize agents using language models for various tasks. So basically it essentially means that you can use a language model and do a bunch of tasks. You can do data generation, automation, and simulations, and things along those lines. So let's see, what exactly is our chat agents, and then what exactly did we do? So in our code, whenever we are trying to work with AI agents, we need to assign it a role, because an agent need to be assigned a role, and then we are basically having a multi-agent system. So we are not just having a single agent, we are having multiple agents. So for example, we have we have a chat agent, we have another chat agent, we have another chat agent. So we have 3 chat agents that can check each other. So one chat agent is responsible for fetching data. One chat agent is responsible for making sure that that data is in a specified language. And then another chat data is basically making sure that both of these chat agents are synchronized, or that sort of stuff. So you can sort of like use a multi-AI agent synergy and build a sort of like an AI agent society, and then you can you can provide simulations and do automation in whatever way you like. So that's what it is. So for example, we have a bunch of agents. We assigned our first agent the role of system, and then we basically, like your system, like you're the system, and then we gave it a system message. You're a curious stone wondering about the universe. So basically we gave it a system message like, you sort of like can provide us information about the universe, because you are basically well versed in having knowledge about the universe, and you're constantly in curiosity with the universe. So yes, we have one agent, and then we have another agent that is given the role of user. So this is the user, and then this agent is basically going to be asking questions from the AI agent that is the system. So getting there, I believe this is going to help with a whiteboard. That this might help. Okay, we need to sign in, so we don't have time for that. So I believe it's I can write it right above in comments. So for example, we have 3 LLMs. We have a LLM, we have a model, a language model that is a system. We have another language model that is sort of like it is the user, but this is not the human user, this is the AI user. We are telling that you are the user of this platform. And then we can have another language model. I believe its role is assistant. And then we are simply just printing out, because we are trying to understand what exactly is this sort of like a multi-agent collaboration is doing. So we assigned a bunch of roles to language models, and then what exactly they do. We start with the function role, and I believe this is no. We start with the assistant. The assistant provides a function to the user agent, and then the user agent asks questions from the system agent. So for example, this system agent is here, it will answer questions. This user agent is present here because its only purpose is to ask questions. And then this assistant agent is present here because it will aid the user with a specific task. Like it will provide the user like, oh, hey, would you like to know something about the universe? And then the user will formulate a question on that premise, and that it will forward that question to the system, fetch an answer, and then basically in that way we will have a multi-agent collaboration between these agents. So just to get a minimal example of this, we have a role. So basically the assistant agent basically generated this content. So it will ask the user, hey, search Wikipedia or search Wikipedia about Camel AI. Okay, so the assistant gave user a premise, search Wikipedia about Camel AI, and then now the assistant basically generated a function, and then called a function, and then that function basically generated this JSON query. And then it will say, like, there is no page in Wikipedia corresponding to the entity Camel AI. Please specify another word to describe entity to be searched. So this role function is another AI agent, by the way. This is here to check that whatever content that the assistant is generating is actually true. So that's why it checked, like, there is no page for Wikipedia. Please provide any other queries to be searched. So yeah, that's exactly what the function, what that's exactly what the purpose of this function agent is. So okay, so assistant went back and say, oh, you no longer need to search on Wikipedia, you can search Google. So assistant came across and then provided us with another thing. So okay, you can search Google, but search for Camel AI, and then you need to look at least 2 pages for the Google search query. So we need to look at the 2 pages. Okay, so I believe my phone is not having issues. Okay, that's good. So you need to look at the beginning 2 pages, and then the function role will check, oh, if the Google search failed. So it says the Google search failed, you need to search on another search engine. So the assistant came back, and then it came back with another content query. So you no longer need to search Google, you can search on DuckDuckGo, and then Camel AI max results 5. And then after running the function role, the function agent ran this query, ran this premise, and then it gave back with content. It gave us content, like it gave us 5 results, and then with each of these results, it gave us titles of the search of the DuckDuckGo search of the Camel AI query. And as you can see, we have a description, we have a URL, we have description, title, URL, description, title, URL, and then we have 5 queries. So yes, that's exactly what is happening. So an assistant gave a query. The function agent ran that query and then gave the content back. And then you can give the content back. And then this user and system is sort of like redundant AI agents, but they can be used to have conversations back and forth. And then in this way, you can generate sort of like conversational data. So if you need to like have a speech data or conversation data, you can generate with these AI agents very beautifully. So yes, running back, we can quickly grab this code that beautifies our content one more time, and then paste it. So let's see what it gave. We have data of rich.console, rich.table, import errors, no module named rich. Okay, so we can install rich quickly. Oh, pip install rich. I believe there is no version of rich that we need to install. Okay. Requirements satisfied. Okay, so at least this is the last code block. We need to make sure that it works. So we are again going to be copying our errors, and we need to make sure that we at least get the content in a beautiful way. We get it outputted in a beautiful way, so we can give our Copilot the error, and then it will try to debug it for us and provide us with the working code. So we can install rich and then make sure that it works. So on the top, we did just try to do that, but it did not install this. So let's see if it's installing now. Okay, not install pip show rich, and then retry import. And again, copy it and then give the output back to Copilot. And this is a very seamless debugging experience that we are having right now. Okay, so I believe I need to make sure just a quick little check my MacBook. There's someone in the waiting queue. Okay, I did not see. Sorry. Okay, let's head on over to Python, and then we need to make sure that it's actually installed. So we can get rid of this top line, and then rerun it. We are force installing rich. Is it not that you can use any other package to pretty print? Okay, the same errors that we're dealing with Camel AI. So, okay, so in that case, at least we did get something working today. We did get this content, this JSON object from the Camel AI agent roles, multi-agent roles. So we can try to rerun it and see the beauty, see the essence of our beauty that we just ran. So this is the data this is sort of like chat conversational data that you can expect to get. So yes, that's it for now. I believe today was not so informational because we did run into pretty nasty bugs. And then a bit more time, those bugs might have been resolved. But yes, at least to provide a generalized idea of what exactly we were dealing with, this is the data that we were trying to generate. And now we are simply printing it. Pretty trivial. So yes, we perform this experiment, or at least try to perform this experiment in the Azure Machine Learning Studio notebooks. And then yes, we try to create a new we first head on over to the Microsoft Machine Learning Studio resource group. We head on over to our workspace. We created a new compute, and then now we created a new notebook. And then inside that notebook, we ran Python code. So yes, if you would like to fiddle around with Machine Learning Studio, feel free to head on over to Azure Machine Learning Studio, Azure, and get a student subscription, and then try it out for yourself. And then if you would like to work around with Camel AI, certainly you check out Camel AI cookbooks. I'm pretty sure that if there is a challenge to be made, there is a challenge that can be argued, that if someone is not able to get a solution, working solution for something, other people might be able to get it. So yes, you certainly might be able to be successful with the minimal working examples. So do check out Camel AI agents, and it will certainly teach you a lot. And then before closing out, we do have one more thing, just a quick little thing to talk about, which is the Microsoft Azure virtual machines. Because I believe virtual machines by far are pretty like very intuitive tools. Like if you're trying to make sure that if you are running an operating system in the cloud, you can create a new virtual machine, and then based on Azure's offerings, you can create virtual machines from a wide variety of images. So you have Ubuntu, Debian, OpenSUSE, Oracle, Red Hat, Enterprise, Windows servers, and a lot of these images that you can navigate to and create a new. But right now, I have created this virtual machine, and I would like to show you something amazing. So I have my terminal right here. I have my hyper terminal, and I can remotely connect to my virtual machine via command line using SSH. So I can navigate to my virtual machine, and then here is the option to connect to it, and then we can use native SSH to connect. And then I have my secret key right here. I need to copy its path. So we can see copy as path. We can paste it right here, and it will give me the command that I can copy and then paste it right here to SSH to basically connect to my virtual machine in the cloud. I can basically, So as you can see, we connected it. Welcome to Ubuntu. So right now, this terminal is running on cloud, Azure cloud hardware, and then we're no longer running Windows. We're running Ubuntu. So the Ubuntu was 20.04.6 LTS, long-term support. So here I can do anything. I can git clone. I can install packages, git clone, anything. I can run Python scripts or Python 3 scripts on Linux. I can run Python code. I can do anything, and all of that compute. I can try to get the. Okay, let's try to run one command: sudo apt install neofetch. If you want to continue, and so as you can see, all of these packages are being installed not on my hardware, not on my PC, but in the cloud. So every single piece of operations are happening in the cloud on Azure virtual machine. So we just installed a utility command for understanding your system. So this is neofetch, and then we can run neofetch. So we are on Ubuntu, we are virtual machine hypervisor UEFI. We have a kernel, Azure kernel, and then this Azure virtual machine has been running for 2 hours because previously I was experimenting with it. And then we have a CPU. This is pretty interesting. We have an Intel Xeon Platinum CPU, and then we have 16 gigabytes of RAM. So yes, that's pretty amazing stuff. So do check out Azure virtual machines as well. They are pretty amazing, and then you can achieve a lot more. You can achieve a lot more, sort of like productivity by a lot more tools and the Azure dashboard. So yes, those are my two favorites: the Azure Virtual Machine and Azure Machine Learning Studio. And previously, I was experimenting with the OWL thing. This one, do check OWL Optimized Workforce Learning. If you would like to spawn an AI agent that browses for you in real time, we can take a look. Okay, this video is working, so we can have a quick look at this video. Oh, okay, it's not working. So we can search the web. We can search OWL Camel AI. Okay, OWL Camel AI demo video. We can search on Bing videos, and then it's felt like a good thing to just take a look at what exactly the Okay. Okay, we can open it in your tab. I didn't know that. Can we? Okay, so this is not working. Okay. So okay, we typed our question. As you can see, the user typed their question, and now right on the left side there is a terminal, and then on the right side there is a browser, and the browser is doing things on its own. But it appears that the mouse is moving, but the browser is doing things on its own. So yes, that's the essence of AI agent that is browsing stuff for you. All right, so I believe for the most part. We are done for this session today. Thank you for being here, and thank you for trying to understand what exactly we went through. So yeah, we had a lot of issues. We had a lot of bugs that we still need to deal with. So yes, but at least we were in the constant process of learning. We made sure that we learned through Azure Machine Learning Studio, and then we learned a bit about Azure Virtual Machines. So yes, in the future, do check out these products, and then they're amazing. And then do check out Camel AI framework as well. So not to hold anyone any further, thank you everyone for joining, and thanks for this amazing session. And yeah, do check out Microsoft. So yeah, these three products are literally amazing. So we have Microsoft Machine Learning Studio, Virtual Machines, and then a Copilot. Coupled with Copilot, you can almost achieve anything. With a little bit more time, I believe the debugging would have been possible. But yes, we still got this. We still got something to that similar effect. Because we were able to see the data that the AI agents can interact with, and then they generate afterwards. So yes, after you close the session, it's very important that you do close the session. You can, just interrupt the kernel and then stop your compute to make sure that you do not get your credits exhausted. So you can stop compute, and it's asking me to confirm stop compute. We will be stopping our compute. And then yes, meanwhile it's stopping. I believe we are done for today. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. It's been a pleasure to have all of you here. And then, yes, until next time, we will be having another meeting pretty soon. So thank you very much for joining. Bye-bye.